Welcome back. It's still Rise and Shine, and we're coming to you live from the beautiful hills of Ibiakura. And of course, we'll be getting into our focus conversation for this morning. And a lot of things have been happening in Nigeria. We are looking at the rising cost of food items nationwide, and it's been biting. We're looking at the fact that insecurity has caused farmers not to be able to have their farmlands to produce food for us as a country. So this is a conversation we'll be having, of course, having looked at the fact that 133 million Nigerians are living beneath the poverty line in Nigeria. This is why we're going to be looking at agriculture as a tool for poverty alleviation. And to have this conversation with us in the studio this morning is engineer Mfon Asien, who is the chairman, South Professional Forum of Engineers, and he's the chief steward, Tessin Shalom Holdings. Good morning, engineer. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, to just put things in perspective, engineer Tyson Holdings means that he's a farmer, and that's why he's in the position to talk to us about, agriculture.
Engineer also.
Yes, you are an engineer.
Yes. Agric engineer, awesome. Yeah, nice to hear those kinds of, very different, odd kinds of engineering, agric engineer. I remember being young and I wanted
Is it an agric engineer?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And then there was like food engineering, and I was interested in food engineering at some point. But yeah, welcome. Good to have you here. How was your journey here?
Well, my journey? Well, before I go to my journey, I want to, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to be here with you. And I like your beautiful outset and everything, and your beautiful city of Uyo, which we are all very proud of.
Thank you.
And I think the investors in this business, they must be very, very courageous, very daring, and at the same time, they are futuristic. I know it's not going to be easy now, but the way you have laid your foundation, I think the sky is the limit. My journey from Calabar, very rough, because the road is under construction. So, but we're hoping, all things being equal, maybe before the rainy season comes, it will be a pleasurable ride.
All right.
Thank you.
I think I was very specific in asking how was your journey, because she wants to know exactly how your journey was from Uyo to the studio.
This station, right?
Uyo to the studio. It's almost like Calabar to road, but there are signs that maybe government is doing something.
Okay.
But when you come in here, you forget the stress of the journey.
Right.
It's like maybe an oasis.
The environment here is
It's
therapeutic.
beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you once again for being here with us this morning. It's always a pleasure having to talk to you about agriculture. It's always a pleasure talking to you about some of the major challenges we're facing in the agricultural sector. Now, we're looking at agriculture, making agriculture a tool for poverty alleviation. And just like I stated, in her opening of the segment, 133 million Nigerians living under the poverty line, and according to World Bank, it will not even end there if there is no drastic measure being taken. So at the end of the day, we find out that more people might be joining this category of people that are living under the poverty line. Now, what would you say? Let us even, do like a retrospect into 2022. Do you think that government did enough in terms of pushing agriculture? The administration of President Muhammadu Buhari would tell you that, there's so much that has been done in the agricultural sector. There's so much that has been sunk into the agricultural sector. Nigerians are beginning to produce their own foods, their own rice. But I'm asking and wondering, why do we still have so much hike in the prices of goods and services? A bag of rice now, during December, we were hearing 45,000, and it's really a terrible thing.
Thank you very much. I must agree with the government that yes, a lot has been done. And in spite of all that has been done, the statistics you are quoting is not from World Bank, that we will say, they don't like us. They've always said that. Yeah. It's from the Secretariat General of the Federation, from National Bureau of Statistics.
Exactly.
And that is as far back as last year, November.
Exactly.
Between November and now, things have gotten worse. But we are not interested in how things have gotten worse. or interested in sharing blames. Our focus should be, how do we solve the problem? Government did a lot in terms of social investments, but unfortunately, the foundation for that social investment was very faulty. I have to be frank, because with the poverty level we have, every one of us is threatened. Because when there is so much poverty in the land, people are definitely going to take it upon other people. That we have a lot of crime. With kidnapping, for ransom. You even have a lot of people going to prostitution, survival mode, petty thieving, and whatever it is. So all of us are threatened. In fact, we are on survival mode as a nation. And we need to take, like you said, drastic actions. The problem is that most of the good, well-intentioned policies and programs have been over-politicized. And when you politicize a thing, productivity and production suffer. Government has put a lot of money in end power. I can assure you that 95% of those people in end power don't even report for duty. Because once they upload their names, digital manipulation, everybody gets their allowance every month. Nobody asks you for attendance sheet. Nobody asks you for a report. So some of the people that were posted to me, more than 50, about 3 turned up after we have uploaded. And the 3, when I found that they were not coming to work, and we agreed 3 days a week, 9 to 12, I said, oh, I'm going to give you attendance register, so you sign. The following day, all of them stopped coming. They said, we don't need you to get our money. The government tells you we have spent billions. So when you look at that kind of thing, how about other programs that World Bank has in Nigeria? I'm currently supervising some people who as a mentor to help them to get the best out of it. Unfortunately, out of 13, only 3 applied the resources and the money for the project. Others just sold it out and checked out. Out of the 3, only 1 was able to do poultry at Christmas to sell. And even that one is frustrated because people don't have disposable income to buy. Because cost of inputs are high. So we have to have an holistic overhaul and re-evaluation of all these inputs. It's not about putting money into agriculture. A lot of people feel we have lost our value system.
So you're trying to say that it is not about government. It is not about, giving loans like the CBN would do, the Anchors Borrowers Loan. It is not even about bringing up social, service net programs like the N-Power now. It is we Nigerians that are not taking these opportunities and making them worthwhile.
That's correct, but at the same time, the foundation, you get a graduate who has never done anything agriculture in his life. He has never even cut grass in his life. Suddenly you give him millions by way of cash or whatever. He doesn't have the background for it. In those good old days, right from secondary school, you are given some basic agricultural inclination. Today you can't just get someone, how many of our children even sweep their compound? We need to overhaul the whole system and stop politicizing things, because we are in trouble. We were surviving before because we had enough money to import anything we want to import. Right now we don't have the money. $1 is about $7.50. So that's why we have to go back. The young people are not interested in anything that they call stressful. And production, agriculture is very stressful.
Even with having machines and all the foreign tools are available.
Yes, you know one thing, technology is good, but technology is expensive. How do you operate those tools when you don't have power? How do you operate those heavy machines when fuel, diesel is 850 naira? I've abandoned my diesel generator. I had to buy a petrol one to run my house because for now it's still relatively cheap, maybe 200, 250, 230. So with all the gadgets there, how do you run your water when you don't have power? It's a holistic thing. It's so isolated. So many things. Every sector is scattered and things are bad. So when you aggregate them, you have a total system collapse. And that's where we are approaching.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about, the, like you said, it's holistic. It's not one thing that is affecting, and you have a good grasp of people that are doing agriculture professionally. Now we're looking at the fact that insecurity has really also eaten into the ability of people to farm. Up north, we have people that are interested in farming on a very large scale, but insecurity has eaten deep into that. How would you say that the agricultural sector is faring with regards to that, and has there been a comeback to a little extent, looking at the fact that as we go further it is going to become more difficult with regards to food production? So what's the reality on ground with regards to
the
farming?
reality, you're very sure that things are not much better, but food is basic. Like I used to tell people, man must work. Even those who are billionaires, at the end of the day, they must eat. But production has dropped in some areas. It has increased in some areas. But the problem we have now is even beyond production.
Okay.
Because people don't have disposable income. And agricultural produce are perishable things. The farmers are lamenting. I have produced, but you don't have money to buy. Under 1 week, this my produce will spoil. You see a lot of wastage. Go all over the place. You see plenty of plantain, plenty of pawpaw, plenty of fruits. People don't have the money. In December, October, November, December, almost every week there was increase in the price of inputs. And people produced at Christmas time. Almost all the farmers I know had excess broilers left over after the festive season. And every day you keep them alive, you have to feed them. Now you want to put them in storage, there is no power. So, problem of storage, problem of processing. And if you want to process, we need machine. So we have concentrated so much on production, which even if it is bad, it has improved. There's no doubt about that. But after processing perishable items, how do you store them? How do you process them? If the economy is very good, logistics are in place, this is the best time for us to begin to export these things. But before you must export, you must meet the quality of those foreign countries. That's why I say, when we look at agriculture, we have focused so much on production, which we are trying to get in spite of all the challenges. But most of the farmers are frustrated because there is no market, even though we are more than 250 million people. And you cannot keep those things for more than 1 week.
So if people were to say, I know that is not like economically right. We had NNPCL saying yesterday that they are selling petrol at a loss,
yes,
just to meet up.
Yes.
Now one would say, it sounds illogical, but would someone say let the farmers cut down the prices of which they are selling these products so as to even, now you're losing out on two ends. You are spending money to produce, you're not able to meet up with sales, and it is getting wasted.
Yeah.
Why don't we slash the prices and sell?
You're talking about subsidy. That's what you're saying.
Okay.
Now you know how many trillions we are spending to subsidize petrol. When the president came in, before he came in, he said, no, I'm going to remove subsidy. Now he has found that it's not possible to remove subsidy. Subsidy is done in many places of the world, but people don't subsidize consumption. They subsidize production. And one of the things we need to have, like it's easier to bring your chicken from Brazil to Nigeria. They even bring from Brazil to Benin Republic and smuggle to Nigeria. Why? Cost of production there is very low. The Brazilian farmer does not think of how do I get power to freeze my chicken. He doesn't think of how do I get water to process my things. Our infrastructural base does not support a lot of the things which we want to do. And that's why it's important for us to make sure we get power rights. Your technology is costly. If you don't have network, what can you do? If you don't have light here, all you have done here is not working. Even look at the access road. Unless someone is seriously committed. So we have to overhaul and look at it. And I'm sorry to say, politicians are short-term people. They think of 3 to 4 years. Development is not a question of what you want to do within 2 or 3 years. And they are thinking of, what can I get back? Politics for me is for service. It's to give back to society. But most of our politicians are not thinking of that. They are thinking of their own self, they're thinking of their family. Even in recruitment in Nigeria, if I were to be born today, I would not be an educated person. Because my father had no means of going to get and see who is who to come and help to get admission. It was based on merit. You do very well, they put this in the newspaper, the following people have been given admission, the following people have been employed. Our system, our foundation, our value system is what is destroying everything. Nigerians leave this country and go and slave in America, slave in Europe, even slave in Benin Republic, slave in Togo. Good, conducive environment. All of us must begin to think of how can we, in all honesty, make this environment such that will encourage production.
Okay.
I feel like weeping because the way things are in the country, it looks so hopeless. And that's why you're having Jackpot, everybody trying to get out.
The Jackpot syndrome seems to be what is on the
I know
rave,
medical doctors
the rave
who have
of the
checked out.
moment.
I know engineers who have checked out. I know bank managers who have checked out. I know my generator operator who I think is making a lot of money because there is problem in the country. He's gone to Ghana. He said, okay, it is better for me in Ghana than in Nigeria. I said, upon no generator you're repairing every day.
Okay.
Something is wrong somewhere.
Poverty, or rather agriculture as a tool to alleviating poverty. Now, with all of what you have said, it is obvious that even doing agriculture today is very expensive.
Very expensive.
Now, do you think that that is what has made a lot of people opt out of agriculture? And do we still have to sit down here and be talking about agriculture being used as a tool for poverty alleviation?
It's a tool. In fact, all we are saying now is that how do we make it? Because our definition of empowerment has to change. Is the tool with more than 220 million people? They must eat. They must survive. The younger people must get good food. So agriculture, how do we make it a tool? Not a political tool now, but real tool of production, covering production, storage, packaging, processing, and exporting. Look at, in fact, if we have enough facility from all the waste you see around, if we can curb the waste, Nigeria productivity will increase by more than 50%. Without planting, just make sure that what you have produced, you get them and take them to the market, either locally or internationally.
So if we say that we can use agriculture as a tool to alleviate poverty,
Yes.
how can we do that? What are the
Exactly.
steps?
What are the steps?
What can we engage to make sure that it has become, a tool to alleviate poverty?
One, like President Obasanjo just said somewhere, you must make agriculture glamorous for the young people. More than 70% of people producing the food we are eating today are above 60 years. The youth are not there. And the youth are the future. The old people are dying very fast. We must make it glamorous. How do you make it glamorous? Remove all the drudgery and all the stress involved. And how do you do that? By infrastructure. If there is power ready, and people know all they just to do is go and open a tap, water is available for your work, you press a button, power is available. But if they have to go through the old school method, it will not work. Secondly, processing, packaging, and storage. We are losing more than 50% of what we produce. And that's the situation. So these are the things. Technology is there. But how do we make sure we put this right there? We must change our system of what I will call recruitment of either leaders or human beings. You want to do something on maybe appeals, or you want to do all those NISRA programs and so on and so forth. If it is based on who you know, who I know, that guy is not definitely going to work. Once he gets, he say, who are you? My uncle who is so and so gave this thing to me. So we must change the method and really look for people who are passionate about these things, people who are committed. That is when productivity will be off.
So now there's an angle I'd come from, because you're talking about manpower
Yes.
and human development.
Yes.
We have people in our universities that are studying agricultural sciences, studying food engineering like yourself. I mean, food engineering and all the
Yes.
likes. So when we take these people to the four walls of the university or our polytechnics, when we train them, what exactly are they being trained upon? And then when they come out into the society, what exactly do they do? At least this number of persons should cover for, you know, the group, the youth bracket that we should find in the agricultural sector.
But let's not also totally say that we do not have young people that are going into agriculture.
Yeah, the percentage
I know
might
a
just be
few.
really
I know a
low.
few people.
Yes.
You know, young people that are into fishery, or snail farming, and the likes.
Yes, that's right. There are young people who are coming in. How many?
The percentage
How
would be low.
productive are they? And not only that, you mentioned agricultural graduates. Do you know that many of our universities, they don't even have a good farm? Some of their farms have been abandoned. I know some agri graduates who have never seen a greenhouse in their life. I had a graduate of animal science who came to my farm, and I said, "Oh, you're welcome." I said, "Copper. Tomorrow we are getting our day-old chicks to prepare. So get set." She told me, "I've never seen a day-old chick in my life." Education is fundamentally faulty. We're just producing people for paper qualification, no skills, not even enough knowledge. Everything we want to do is paper, 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 paper. Nobody looks at paper these days. Many of the people we bring into the country to come and help us in our projects, most of them are not graduates. They just have skill and commitment. And that's why I'm talking of value reorientation. Because the foundation we have laid for ourselves, for our children, everything is just wrong. It's all about money, 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 and chasing certificates. The world does not work on what is the certificate that all these great people here, Bill Gates, what do they have? They voluntarily left Harvard University to go and chase their passion and commitment. It's not about qualification. And that's where we need to get it. And our politicians, our leaders, how do we recruit our leaders? People who have no idea, nothing. Many of them, even their certificates are fake. They can't tell us who their classmates, they can't tell us anything, and they are coming pontificating all over the place. This country is sick. And we need to really, from the foundation, if the foundation is not good, no matter what you put on top, everything will collapse. And that's what is happening to all of us.
Okay, let's even talk about, you know, the Bojacks that was recently passed into law by President Muhammadu Buhari. As part of the Bojacks, it says that 228.4 billion has been earmarked for the Ministry of Agriculture. Now, in your view, do you think that this is enough to revamp the agricultural sector? Now, I don't even know if, obviously, it's a little bit more than what was earmarked for 2022, okay, in terms of the agricultural sector. Now, do you think that in trying to revamp, because of all the things you have said, we need to get it right from the basics, we need to get electricity, we need to, you know, also do the value chain addition and all of that. Do you think that this is enough to revamp the agricultural sector?
Well, it may not be enough, and you can never have enough. Development and other things is a cooperative thing. Government is trying to give a push. In fact, many people believe that government should not even get involved because government is not meant to do business. But because of our peculiar situation, government is trying to give a push. A state, just like your system here, there was a time that everything about radio, television is all government. But now, government is getting, and private sector is taking it over. So I believe in private sector. So what government is doing is a push. But if that small push is properly applied, it will go a long way. And you know the funny thing, many of us in Nigeria are not helping government. Most of what government puts, not just in terms of manpower, even infrastructure. Government, Ministry of Agri, in their programs during COVID, they helped, gave us access road where I have my farm, up to 10 kilometers, gave us solar lights, gave us boreholes. You know what the young people did in the village? They vandalized everything. Removed my overhead tank, removed my pump, removed everything. Of course, they were caught. Some of them were killed. But at that time, my situation, what have I done? I've abandoned my farm. Government is doing whatever they want to do. But because of the kind of society we find ourselves, That's what is happening. Government is giving a push to help us. Do you know people go around vandalizing even power lines? Which kind of society are we in? That's what is happening. Government is doing a lot with good intention, but are we cooperating with government? And when you catch some of these people, the same big men and chiefs and so on that will say, leave them alone, is our son, is our daughter. But Nigerians go outside the country. They cannot attempt it. But when they come, who will do it? So when we try to talk about government do whatever they can do. A lot, which they are not supposed to do. But when they do that little one, somebody sits in the office, tries to embezzle. The little they bring to the field, the community vandalizes. And after they say, government is not working. Well,
so proper implementation for you is very key at this moment. Yes. 228 point something billion naira being earmarked for the agricultural sector. Let us see how those that will be taking up implementation will do the right things.
Yes, will do the right thing. And in fairness, what you have is a budget. Half of the budget, they are looking for where to borrow the money. Budget is different. Release is different. Yes. And now that we're having politics, maybe if everything goes well, a new regime comes in, first thing they're going to do is what? Revise the budget, supplementary budget. So 2023 being an election year, it's not something you will say that you can be very sure of what will happen, because the next regime might just come and say, we are reprioritizing. So it's good budget, it's good proposal, but let us wait and see.
Okay.
But whatever they release, let us make sure we protect it. Let us have ownership mentality for Nigeria. Not tenant. We are not tenants. We are the owners of Nigeria, and we must protect it. We must get things done. We must get our value right. We must love this country.
So let's have a little conversation about farmers. Yes. You know, even from the very back end. The little person who is planting, like on these our roads, if you're coming up from this other end, you find out that we have, a large space of land used to farm what we call now water leaf. Those kinds of farming. Now, what would your encouragement be? Because we're even looking at, poverty alleviation. If we have everyone who's not doing a white collar job, there are people who are not doing anything, who can be encouraged into small subsistence farming. Then we will be able to look at, if I sell my water leaf, at the price that I have, I'll be able to buy paracetamol for my child and all of those things. So let's hear your thoughts about, farming at a very basic level before we even look at, at a large scale where you need processing and storing and all of that. So let's look at, farming at the very small level. What are your thoughts? What would your encouragement be? What can we do differently?
We have to encourage those people. But do you know one thing? Rainy season farming is not profitable because everybody is having something around you. But when you have dry season farming, 95% of farmers are not farming. You make plenty of money. That is where Israel had the edge. That is where Japan has the edge. The average Japanese farmer does not have more than 1/4 of a football field. But because of technology that off-season they can produce, they make a lot of money. You cannot do agriculture the way my great-grandfathers were doing it and expect to have results. Then maybe Nigerian population was about 35-40 million. Now we're talking 200-something million people. And almost everybody, some of the farmers that couldn't sell their poultry, when I interviewed them, you know what they told me? Everybody now has backyard poultry farm, whether 5 or 10. So all those people who were coming to buy from us, they don't come again. So, but for the commercial, you see, we're not talking of subsistence farming for you to eat with your family. We are talking of commercial, and there is what we call economies of scale. If you are planting just small backyard, maybe it can help you. You go, you pick purple. But we're talking of commercial to be able to feed these large people. In Israel, they have about 5% of their population farming. And they are feeding themselves, feeding some part of Europe and Africa. Same thing in America. In Nigeria, we have 70% of our people involved in agriculture. And we cannot feed ourselves.
We have a call. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Good morning. Engineer Sen. All right, please, let's hear your thoughts. Yeah. All right, please, can you step away from your television or put down the volume so that we can have a whole back? Thanks for calling. Let's hear your thoughts. Good morning. Yes, absolutely. We can hear you. Go ahead with your thoughts, Engineer Sen.
Yeah, I am so pleased with the program,
Thank
and
you.
the math today there is making a lot of sense. But I also want to add up to what he's saying. Akwa Ibom State government or the farmers in Akwa Ibom State need to be educated on the need of fertilizers. Most times they don't have access to those things, and now the world has changed. Like he mentioned something about Japan. You know, in Russia they have only six months to plant, but Russia has enough agricultural materials to feed other countries. But here in Nigeria, here in Akwa Ibom State, we have land which is the highest resources, but we are not making use of them. We are not using them. Nobody is going around to educate the farmers on what they need to do. So, like now, we have this organic fertilizers that we only spray on the leaves. If you see the yield this thing brings, immediately you try this thing, the government doesn't know about it. Even when people come in and try to assess them and tell them about this organic fertilizers that is very, 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 very active, more than the other one we're using. So I am so encouraged by this. I think I just got to hear of Spectrum last night on my satellite, and I'm so excited.
Please
because,
stay glued to it. Stay glued to it, please, and let other people in Akwa Ibom State know that Spectrum Television is the rave of the moment as we speak.
I'm telling you, the picture quality is something else. The packaging, the delivering. Wow, you guys are good.
Yeah.
Thank you. We totally appreciate
Since last night I've been watching this. I'm not changing even one station.
Oh wow! Thank you so much.
And I'm from Oran.
Oh yeah.
And I'm from Oran.
Wow.
It's on the hill of Oran. So it's something we should encourage more.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Please,
you.
what's the name of the man there in the studio?
Engineer Mfon Esen.
Get namesake.
Engineer Mfon Esen.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Is he into agri?
Yes.
Yes,
he
he's
is.
a farmer.
He's a farmer.
Yes, and an agric engineer.
Oh, please. I would like to get in contact with him.
No problem. We'll do that after
more.
the show. Thank you so much, Engineer Esen.
All right.
So we can take all the calls
I
on
think
this.
we had another call, but maybe we might have lost it.
Just to
Okay, let's just take another call. Quick one. Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from? Okay. We drop call there. All right. So
I want to thank the caller. He talks about land development.
Yes, sir.
Land development requires machinery.
Okay, there's a call. We'll just take this one.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. What's your name and where are you calling us from?
Well done. Good morning, all. How are you doing? I'm calling from Bauchi.
You're calling from Bauchi. Thank you very much. What's your name?
My name is Isa.
Issa. All right, Issa. Please go ahead with your thoughts.
So I just tuned into the channel, though I've been watching it, and I hear the last caller said he just tuned into the channel.
Okay.
So myself, I've been watching the development in this channel, and I'm really amazed with what is going on in this particular television station.
Thank you.
So much.
And we are just called to tell you people that what you are doing a very good job, and the person sitting there is one of us. I'm also a farmer who is into poultry production and agronomy also.
Okay.
So as the last caller said also, that's the only way we can go in this country, so long as we want to get over our problems. The only way is let us feed ourselves. After then we look at how we develop other technological issues that can help us develop to the maximum capacity. But so long as we can stay importing food, we are going nowhere.
Okay. All right.
And
Thank you.
I hope and pray all the government in the country can work toward this achievement of food sufficiency. Okay. May Almighty Allah be with us and help and guide Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Isa.
So say, all right, that's a great one. So you just give your thoughts in like 1
minute.
In like
1 minute.
Land development requires machinery. Development is not just clearing. I can ask a simple question. How many tractors do we have in Akwa Ibom State? The land you are talking about. People are not going to use cutlass and axes to do that. That's a challenge for private sector, for government. We talk of extension services. In Israel, extension service is almost mandatory. But unfortunately, in Nigeria, for the extension farmer, maybe at Ekuru Sukara to come in here, does he even have a vehicle or fertilizer? Who can afford it now?
All right, thank you so much. I think that's the much we can take on this particular conversation. Actually, very interesting conversation. I like the fact that people are calling in to be part of it.
We definitely have to have Engineer Mfon to come, talk some more about
this. About it. But thank you so much, Engineer Mfonistin, FNSE, Chairman South Professional Forum of Engineers, and Chief Steward Tyson Shalom Holdings. That's the much we can take on the show this morning. Thank you so much for being a part of it. We'll definitely see you again next week for another interesting edition of Rise and Shine Daily. And for all those that are calling in, please stay tuned. Of course, Rise and Shine is the rave of the moment, and Spectrum Television, I beg your pardon, is the rave of the moment. So stay through for all our programmings on Spectrum Television. Thank you. My name is Janice Cobham. See you again next week.
My name is Uyanik, and a big thank you to everyone who's been a part of today's successful production, and to everyone who called in on the program. We absolutely appreciate you. Spectrum Television appreciates you. Stay glued and watch the rest of our program. And of course, Sports Central comes up next after this. Do stay with us. Bye-bye from all of us this morning. It's bye-bye. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Definitely. We'll see you again next week.